So folks, this is a quick introduction. It's probably not that quick, but it's very important what I've put in this video. So I suggest if you want to get into carving, watch it all the way through. I've done some more laying out on this. I started laying this out in this video and showing some cuts and some safety stuff. This will be part one. I will make a separate playlist for carvings. And remember, it's nice to be nice. Hiya folks, well, due to popular demand, if that's what you could call it, 3 or 4 people asking me to try and do a video on carving. I'm going to tell you something here. I'm no expert. I've probably done about, I don't know, 10 or 12 of these little things, and some practice and some fails, and you know, so I'm absolutely no expert. Now, the first piece I did was this, and the knife I used was this. Now, I did have some carving knives, a set of carving knives, which consist of this one here, which is commonly called a sheep's foot, I think, a skew, and this little, it's 4 centimetres, or I think it's about 1 3/4 inch or 1.5 inch. That's what I've used to carve all these figures in the past, yeah, these ones, including the one that's going for the Sprout Challenge, yeah, just this. So these are pretty cheap. These are a cheap set. I can't find any better sets here where I am. There are various other tools what you can use, a V-tool and stuff like that. I do have a V-tool, but I've only just got it so that it'll cut. This were a very cheap one, and the angle were about 45 degrees, so it were unusable. But I'm not going to even use that, so all I'm going to do is use this. First I want to talk about sort of some safety stuff, things I have now here after learning the hard way. Super glue, it's good for sticking things back, wooden bits that come off, and also finger ends. I'll show you. Close your eyes if you're squeamish. Now you can open them again. So yes, gloves, yeah, plasters, antiseptic, put them back within easy reach. Yeah, a glove, whichever hand you're using is your cutting hand, yeah. I'm left-handed, so you're gonna have a glove on this hand, because when you're gripping something to cut it, I'll have to set camera up when I'm actually doing any carving, but you need a glove on this hand, and a good thing as well as a thumb guard on here, because what I'm going to do is show you some cuts. I won't be wearing the gloves at the moment, but I'll try and show you these basic cuts. Oh, I'll talk about wood first as well. Wood. Now, I know a lot of guys in the States, they use basswood. Now, I didn't know what basswood was until I did a search, and it's actually linden. Now, I can't get linden yet. Popular apparently is quite good to carve, but what I'm using is pine. Yeah, this is just cheap pine. This is builder's pine. This is I just had some offcuts. These are bits what I had from when I did the quail house, so I've used it. I process it down because I've got a bandsaw, or I've got a saw. I can process it down into sort of workable sizes. That's that sort of size, yeah. And that's that sort of size. If you're doing, if you have got a bandsaw, there's another technique you can use, which is not just chipping it out. But that's what I'm going to do here as basic. I mean, if you haven't got a saw, you've got to process it down to some sort of block what you can use. You could split it even. You know what I mean? Grain, you want it running top to bottom. What I've done with these is I've obviously see that's got a big knot in it. Yeah. Knots aren't going to do you any favours. You don't want any knots in it. You want to try and get the grain as straight as you possible and close as you possible. This pine is not fantastic, but that's what I've got. That's the best I've got. So I'll go into I'll say that first. I'm going to show you some cuts first, some different styles of cuts. The main for what you'd be using basically when you're doing a carving. And then what I'm going to try and carve is a little compo type character. Now, if you don't know what compo is, it's like a scruffy little guy, not much shaved and woolly hat and same sort of scruffy clothes on all the time, a bit like me. Compose a character off of a TV show from England, Last of the Summer Wine. I was supposed to be doing a lady, but I just don't think I could do Kylie or Felicity Kendall any sort of justice, so I'll do a little character. And what I will say is this character's not going to be exactly like Compo. I'm going to go for the pull down hat and nose showing and a face and a mouth underneath, no beard. So, cuts. I'll try and reset camera up. So, cuts. Like I say, your knife. Now, I've seen people using all sorts of different knives. You know, a normal pocket knife, as long as you've got a good blade on it and sharp. I would recommend, obviously, a strop and some way of sharpening, because this has got to be sharp. I'll show you on this piece of wood. I mean, what you've got to be able to do is, you can see how sharp that is. Oh no, you can't see how sharp that is, can you? I'm not putting any effort in that. There's no effort at all in that. Yeah, let's see if I can put that a bit better so you can see. No, I can't. Right, so 4 basic cuts. You're going to have a stop cut, which you're basically cutting into your piece and then pushing into it. That's a push cut, yeah? Now, when I'm doing a stop cut, it's not so bad. You're pushing down with your thumb, yeah? And then you're pushing with a push cut. I'm not doing that. I'm doing that with my thumb, yeah? I'm pushing with my thumb. I'm in no way doing this sort of thing, because that's like, there's no control. My control here, that's my control, yeah? So, that's a stop cut and a push cut. Then you're going to have sort of a V-cut, which is like a stop cut, but it's at an angle. And then you come back from other angle, and you end up with a V, yeah? That goes in straight, and that one comes in at 2 angles, yeah? Then you got a paw cut. This is what I'm saying about thumb guard, yeah? You get paring cut. You like peeling it, like if you were peeling an apple, yeah, or a potato, and sometimes you're going along an edge grain like that towards your thumb. That's why you need a thumb guard, because that'll win every time. Don't matter how much calluses you've got on. That knife's very sharp. But then again, a sharp knife's better than a blunt knife, because a blunt knife won't cut wood, but it'll cut you, you know. So you got like push cut, paw cut, yeah, V cut. I'm just thinking now, what else is there? Stop cut, push cut, V cut, yeah, paw cut, and that's about it. You've got another sort of V cut where you're cutting a groove, which this is where a V tool comes in handy, so you can cut a groove out. Now, if you're visually impaired like me, you might need 2 pairs of glasses, or a pair of eye adjusters. Yes. So you can cut a groove out of it. Like, you use that for doing sort of hair and stuff like that, if you're trying to get the effect of hair. And again, I'm pushing along with my thumb. I'm not pushing here at all. I'm just holding it. This is just holding it. I've got control, and like when I'm doing a paw cut, see, I'm not pulling it towards myself. You see, some people, if you can carve like this, but here's dangerous, yeah. The triangle of death, they call that. You've got some veins in here, which if you cut them, and this will, you bleed to death in about it. Well. A couple of minutes, let's say, if you catch yourself in the right place. You can carve like this with your hands on here, and I do a lot, but I'm always away from myself, and I'm not, doing this sort of thing and trying to put a point on this, yeah. So the main things I want to explain. Set gloves are important. Other thing I do use is the secret weapon. These are called eye adjusters. And these are basically reading glasses that you can adjust up to +4. So if I'm working here, I can see really close. Other thing I do, if I wear 2 pairs. These are both about 1.5, and then I can see what I'm doing here. Now you look ridiculous, but it works. If you've got a second pair of reading glasses and you're saying, well, I can't do this because I can't see, then put 2 pairs of reading glasses on. Obviously don't use them for reading at distances, but now I can see what I'm doing when I'm doing this little V cut. Now I can see where I've done my other slice, which I couldn't before. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll try and lay this little character out. I'll show you a picture of Compo. And I'll just try and lay this out. I'll probably be wearing these, but you won't be able to do that. Won't really matter. So, laying it out, put you back down. So that's my block. And what I basically want to do is get myself an idea of what this guy looks like. Now, pencil. Here we are. Pencil. Now, he's going to have feet, yeah? So, all I'm going to do is put a line around here. Like that. That's probably just over 1 centimetre. About 1/2 inch. I know this guy wears Wellington boots. So his Wellington boots are going to come to this sort of height. Or he's wearing boots with it, Wellingtons or whatever you want to call it. So I'm just marking it off here with my finger end on there just to get myself a line. His hat. He wears a woolly hat which comes down again about as much as his boots. 1/2 inch. 12 millimetre. I mean, I don't usually measure it. I sort of get myself an idea, but I mean, you'll want some reference. Okay, that's a bit more. That's 16 millimetre, yeah. So that's just that's over 1/2 inch. Yeah, and same with his boots is again 16 millimetre, just a bit over 1/2 inch. And then, because of the character, the head, if you're doing a character, the head's usually a bit bigger than, you know, your head's a little bit big on a character, because that's what these are. This is not fine carving by any means. So I'm going to mark my head. I'll go a little bit lower than that. I've got some old marks on this wood. Yeah, so that's the top. We're going to have a look here at the top of grain. Yeah, and I'll find what I'm going to use as front. So I'm going to basically, and what I'm going to do is try and find myself a centre line. That's my centre line, which I'll carry across to the back. This side's got a nice smooth, well, smoothish. So I'm just going to put on back B for back, so that I know. And like I say, what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to do him sort of a hat and a nose. He's not going to have eyes, and he won't have hands with fingers. I'm going to put him with his hands in his pockets like some other ones. Reason being is I'm not very good at fingers. I'm not very good at eyes. Now, although that hat looks quite flat, it'll probably have a little bit of sag down. Now, I'm going to say something here. Now, I'm not an expert. Most of the stuff I've sort of got into these is because I watched some videos by a guy called Doug Outside and Gene Messer. Now, what I'll do is put links down below, and you can go and check some of their videos out if you get interested in this stuff as well. You don't have to just watch mine. This won't be done today. I'm just doing basic layout here to show you sort of what I'm doing and how to set up and start. I will be carving this. I don't know whether this video will go up first before I actually start doing any carving, or, you know, and I'll do it. I'll try and do it in increments. It's not a fast process if you're doing it from this, and it's something it's not something you can do fast. If you're like going away at it like this, you will be losing fingers. So that's the marking out, and what I'll do, I'll start doing some chipping now, and that will be for part 2. Incidentally, this is the piece that I was working on when I did my finger end, and this is important. When you're looking at this wood, something I didn't mention before, so I'll cut this in to actual video, you're looking for checks as well, splits. There's no splits on it. I've got a piece here, I think they're splitting it, a reject. I don't know whether you can see that, but right here there's a split, yeah. And what happened, now wearing gloves, I was wearing gloves all the way up to this point, and I got a phone call, and I took the gloves off, made the phone call, came back to it, and I was holding it something like this, and I was trying to just nick the heel out for the boot, yeah, for the shoe, and this piece of wood had a split in it, and I went to nick it, took a chip straight off my finger. And there's a funny story with that chip, is that it was a Sunday, and I was going up to church. My two oldest kids were playing in a concert in the church, and it was about an hour before, and I just thought, well, I'll keep doing this for a little bit, and I took the chip off my finger. It took me 20 minutes to find the piece of finger end, and I had to super glue it back on and wrap it up. I had no time to go to hospital. I probably would have gone to hospital anyway, probably not. But so I put it back on and tacked around it with super glue. And that's what it looks like now.